Imagine a world where the success of a leader is not measured by their title, but instead by the bridges that they build. This is Leadership Reimagined. First, I want to start with a bit of a reality check, because for most of us, when we hear the term leadership, we think of nice outfits and powerful suits. We think of a corner office with the name placards outside the corner office. We think of power. We think of seniority. But actually, if you strip away all of that, take away the title, take away their fancy perks, what's left? At its essence, leadership boils down to one single thing: getting people to act on repeat. And this works for many things. Whether you are trying to go viral with a social media post, or whether you are trying to rally a team of people to scale your net new business, the end game is the same: sparking action. But the kicker is this: for decades, the world's leading educational institutions, as well as the world's leading corporate institutions, have tried to dissect the term leadership again and again and again. There have been countless studies on what it takes to be a good leader. What are the 10 successful habits of highly effective leaders? How can I be a good leader? Yet despite all of that amazing brain power that we've plummeted into the world, most people still do not know how to effectively lead a team of people with impact, or to effectively lead through their content with impact. Instead, unfortunately, we have succumbed to historical beliefs, and we have ultimately been taught that leadership is the destination, as opposed to the act of getting there. We've been taught that leadership is the noun, as opposed to the verb, as opposed to the act of actually doing, the act of actually leading. We've been taught that leadership is the pinnacle that we must get to, the throne we must sit on. And when we get to that throne, what happens? We get comfortable. We default into command and control, because guess what? I'm the boss. So I'm going to tell you what to do. And yes, you'll probably listen to me. You'll probably do what I need you to do. But there's a difference between doing what somebody asks you to do and being committed to doing what that person asks you to do. Yes, you may do the job, but are you going to be committed to doing the job well? Yes, you can do the job, but are you going to be committed to doing the job repeatedly? You can do the job, but are you going to be committed to doing the job even better than I asked you to do it in the first place? Think about it. When was the last time you saw a leader, or a person, let's say, with an impressive title who struggled to motivate their teams? Now think of your favorite football team and think about them losing a match really badly. This stuff happens. And again, it's not a people leadership problem only. It also happens with content. So if any of you have a business or are wanting to start a business and you're trying to sell your goods and your products, your services online, and you're trying to scream at the screen and say, hey, buy my products, hey, buy my services, guess what? People are not likely going to buy your goods and your services just because you tell them to. Why? Because people crave connection over command. So then what's the secret? Don't tell me what to do. Inspire me to do it. My husband knows about that one. Don't tell me what to buy. Inspire me to buy it. Again, I go back to that question. What is the secret? How do some people lead with impact versus those who do not lead effectively with impact? What's the difference? Well, I'm glad you asked the question, because after years of working with top executives all over the globe, from Europe to the Americas to Asia, and also after generating over 20 million views with my own content, I've thought about this question, and I've boiled leadership down to one single, yet very simple and very important element: empathy. Show that you care. When people sense we care, when people sense we want to understand how they are, their desires are, what their likes are, what their interests are, equally what they're not interested in. When people sense that we have some level of care about them, guess what happens? We form connections. Think about it. It's exactly why you have probably got a connection with your mother, your father, your loved ones. Because they show that they care in general. And that's what happens. People crave that connection. And it's really simple. The more we connect with people, the more people feel connected back with us. The more they feel that they want to work with us. They want to be committed to us. They want to stay loyal to us and our brands or our services if we're pushing a business. But they want to help us also in our business or in our team goals if that is the motivation. But great leaders, yes, they focus on empathy. But great leaders do something even more than just looking at empathy. Great leaders do what I call focus on the power of E. They take 3 E's and they amplify empathy. The first thing that these leaders do is they apply equitable value to everybody who is in their team or everybody that they're trying to reach. This simply means treating people as individuals, treating people as unique individuals. Recognizing that Sandra, the single mother of a neurodiverse son, will have completely different needs to Caleb, the student at a mid-rank university. That simple understanding that people are different and we have different needs at different times goes a long way to forming a connection. The second thing that these great leaders do with empathy is they apply emotional maturity. Emotional intelligence is one thing, but emotional maturity shows that you know when to use emotional intelligence. Emotional maturity shows that you are able to put yourself out of your comfort zone in order to allow somebody to come in to their comfort zone. Emotional maturity allows other people to feel safe to open up and connect with you. And guess what? If I've got emotional maturity, I'm probably going to open up a little bit about myself first if I notice that you're not opening up about yourself. The fact that we do that, we have that language, that forms a connection. And I challenge you to think of the strongest connections you have. And by that I mean, who do you love? Who do you love? Your partners, your mother, your auntie, or your diddy? Who do you love? And think about the connections, how those connections were formed. And the third thing that these great leaders do, and by no means is this last point not important. I didn't put it third because it wasn't important. I actually put it third because it's probably the most important, but the most understated. The third thing that they do is they are guided by an ethical compass. Now, I know when we say ethics, we think snooze, boring, but ethics is so important because it captures culture. Ethics is simply doing the right thing. Ethics is your internal GPS system of doing the right thing, Which route do I go through to do the right thing? There have been organizations, some of the world's largest organizations, that you would have loved to work for, but guess what? They're no longer here. You probably heard their names, but guess what? They went down. They're no longer in business. I'm talking really, really big organizations. I won't name any. But the point is this. It started somewhere that somebody did the wrong thing. Somebody somewhere in one of those organizations, not every time, but most times, things come down to people. People move processes. People move systems. It doesn't just happen on its own. So somebody somewhere did the wrong thing. Somebody somewhere else copied that wrong thing. They copied a bad behavior. And when one person copies a bad behavior, it's very easy for another person to copy the bad behavior, because guess what? It's just how we do things. That is what culture is. Culture is how we do things around here. And it takes only seconds or days for that culture to seep through the rest of the organization. And guess what? By then, everyone's doing the wrong thing. And if we're all doing the wrong thing, we will not be in business anymore. We can't lead our teams anymore. So those are the three things that great leaders do really well. They take empathy and they raise it to the power E. Equitable value, emotional maturity, and having an ethical compass. Each of these three E's really requires empathy. It requires something so simple. Empathy and showing that we care. The bottom line is that if you have care for somebody else, if you care enough to really ask, how are you? How was your day? How can I help you do better in your job? How can I help you address the service that you really need? How can I take away your pain point? How can I take away your problem? If you show that you care, you can connect. Therefore, leadership has no bounds of seniority, of the clothes we wear, of the power we might hold, of the title we have. Any single person can lead if they show that they care. They can lead if they have empathy and they raise that empathy to the power of E. That's it. So step away from the archaic views of leadership, of, oh, that person's a leader because their title says CEO, or because their title says principal. Step away from the archaic views and know that any single one of you and anyone can lead. And remember this, if you cannot connect, you can't command. If you need control, you have already lost. And if you cannot win hearts, you will never move minds. Thank you.